Welcome to this episode of the AEC Engineering and Technology Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping engineering professionals find technology that fits their needs. In this episode, I'll be talking to two sales engineers from Virtuosity, Fishomi Philip King and Antonio Moss, about specific ways that engineering owners can benefit from using civil design software. Virtuosity is Bentley's e-store for practitioner licenses that helps businesses in an easy and affordable way to purchase a wide variety of Bentley applications bundled with customizable training. Okay, let's jump into today's episode. All right, welcome everyone. Fishomi and Antonio, great to have you both here with us today. Could you please tell our listeners a little bit more about yourselves and what you guys do at Virtuosity?
Thank you. Thanks for having us today, Nick, and I'm happy to be here. My name is Fishomi. I'm based out of Houston, Texas. I'm from England originally, and I'm currently working as a product sales engineer at Virtuosity, but I do have a background in mechanical engineering. That's what I completed my degree in. And outside of that, I have tried a few things, quality engineering, manufacturing engineering, a little bit of research and development. I'm just a guy committed to success in the engineering industry. That's currently led me to product sales. And on a day-to-day at Virtuosity, we offer infrastructural solutions and civil engineering solutions to architects, surveyors, to designers, and to just infrastructural professionals. So we're kind of looking to meet the needs of the organization for their projects. And being in a sales role, we kind of achieve that through, your sales conversations, your emails, your phone calls, also through, making those connections on LinkedIn as well. And through, offering webinars and demonstrations to those who are interested. So kind of in a nutshell, we want to ensure success in the AEC industry and making sure they have access to the latest technology and the workflows. And that's just helping reduce downtime or any project costs.
Absolutely. And Antonio, what about you?
Yeah, no, I'm Antonio. So I'm also a product sales engineer with Virtuosity. Kind of a background in civil engineering. So prior to this role, worked in construction. I was kind of helping the day-to-day and managing the projects where there was road or kind of a bridges project. And again, like Fishomi said, we're just here to help bridge the gap between technology and kind of your solution. Tech is kind of helping build our infrastructure, and we're here to bridge that gap for you.
That's beautifully said. That's the whole point of the podcast, right? Is because a lot of our listeners may know that there's a better solution out there, but they may not be so sure where to go, right? And having guys like you, right, engineering background, but have that interesting technology to bridge the gap between, right, the consumer who knows there's something better out there and the tech, and being able to speak both languages is great. But Antonio, could you go into a little bit more depth about Virtuosity? Because, right, we know it's kind of a sub company of Bentley, but could you tell us a little bit more about what Virtuosity does specifically?
Yeah, no problem. So Virtuosity, again, is kind of a sub company, a break off from Bentley Systems. So prior to Virtuosity, you kind of had to go purchase maybe a 5 to 10 year license structure plan with Bentley. A lot of engineering firms, if you're a big player, that's no problem. We're going to be around for 10 to 15 years. We had no problem investing, $30,000, $40,000 into software for, employees. But let's focus on the smaller, medium business size companies. So the companies that have less than 100 employees. Maybe you only have one person or two people in the office that even do that type of work. So spending $10,000 for one person to use it just wasn't, logistical, or just didn't kind of work in their budget. So we created a solution where it's a lot cheaper, and it's kind of a year subscription. So you get the opportunity, own the license for a year, subscribe to us. Essentially, we get free updates with that subscription, and then you also get provided trainings. You get provided different little discount codes just because you're a smaller, medium-sized company. So that was our target with Virtuosity, and we've been growing every year, kind of getting the name more out there, just to understand this is the better benefit for your small company.
Excellent. And kind of as we were talking a little bit earlier, right, there's so many firms that just make up the civil engineering profession that are in that small, medium business category. And if it's not just the kind of the big players that are supported, right, it makes it tough to get on board with some of the solutions. So it's great to hear that that you guys have kind of developed something for that small to medium business, but it really makes up a large chunk of, consultants and other types of players in the civil market. And Fishomi, why don't we go into a little bit more specifically some of the products that Bentley has, right? So civil design software. So there's obviously the engineering aspect of it, but there's also this business piece behind it, right? Let's say financial forecasting. There's more to decisions than just the engineering. And I know you guys help out your customers on that business side of things. Could you go over a little bit on how you do that and how that might differ from just like the pure engineering?
Oh yeah, 100%. So you're very right there. There is a big business side to things, especially now, like a lot of the clients that we speak to, they're bringing up the whole current business climate, and they're talking about, speculation of recession and things like that. So it's very important that we cover kind of both sides, the engineering and technical side and the kind of business side of things. And one of the big ways we achieve this is realizing that land development projects, especially for civil engineers, isn't just about design and engineering. Some of these guys, they want they want the cost reporting side covered. They want the financial forecasting side covered, because most of the time people go into designing and editing their projects before even winning the bid that they're going to do. So we have realized that, and some of our products, especially like OpenSite Designer, for example, it helps with your project feasibility. So while you're working on winning that bid, while you're doing the conceptual side of things, you can use some of the features like cost reporting to figure out, if I'm creating multiple concepts, does it line up with my budget? Like, is it feasible? Is it something that I can achieve? And if it doesn't, it will definitely tell you that up front, so you know that. So we are giving you like an easy and impressive way to win your bids and ultimately win the project, but knowing that you're submitting that bid with everything in it within budget. That's our way of looking at things. And we like to tackle that through, identifying your design constraints and through just other things of that nature.
Which is so critical, because so many times designs are kind of brought to the drawing board, right? They're priced out perhaps by a third party, and then it's this kind of back and forth process, right? But it sounds like you guys have figured out a way to, there's still going to be some of that, right? But you're giving the power to the engineer up front to be able to do some of that work before it's too late, essentially.
Yeah.
So, and that's what software is all about, right? Helping people and helping engineers in this case be more efficient. But Antonio, could you talk a little bit about, from kind of like a business owner or a firm principal's perspective, right? How is the software helping their employees or their staff be more efficient?
Yeah, so the software there, it kind of helps owners reduce or increase the efficiency. You kind of reducing those billable hours that you're wasting on projects. So instead of doing things by hand, and you're spending, let's say, 32 hours a week designing this one site, most of our products say 20 to 25%. Now you say those 8 to 10 hours of that person's time, instead of hand drawing and putting on napkin sketches or SketchUp or whatever your previous solution was. Now taking the Bentley software and reducing that time. Now they have 10 more hours to work on another project, or 10 hours to go scope and just try to secure new bids. You don't have to bring in other engineers if you gain more product or gain more projects and your business is expanding. Now you have one engineer can do maybe 3 projects in a week versus the one and a half he was already doing. So we're saving time, and on average it's about 20%. So in a 40-hour week, that's almost 10 hours of work 10 hours of billable hours that he can do another project or work on something else.
Which is a beautiful thing. And kind of like we talked about earlier, right? Technology enables that exactly, where you're not trying to replace the engineer or do something crazy, right? All you're trying to do is make what they were going to do anyway faster and more efficient, which, and for a firm owner, right, that can reduce a lot of risk in scoping out projects and assigning billable hours, right? Profits and margins and all of those things. But Fishomi, speaking of risk, right? How does that turn out for both your guys' clients and then kind of the owners they serve, right? How is the software helping to mitigate risk?
Yeah, so we want to mitigate risk. We want to reduce the need to do manual drafting or look to another resource to get your projects designed. And we really want to bring in the benefits of AI. So artificial intelligence, we really want to bring that in. And obviously that's a lot better than using, your manual drafting or, any other resource. And ultimately, the return on investment there is that you're reducing risks in the field, and that saves, like business longevity, it saves your reputation, and ultimately it just kind of leads to less errors or less risk in the field. That equals happier clients and, or happier engineers, sorry, I should say. It equals happier engineers equals happier clients, and then happier clients equals business security. So we reduce risk by producing the software with good artificial intelligence. And for that side, for the client side, it's business security. And then for our side, we can, offer these solutions with a lot more confidence, knowing that it's going to serve you well.
Absolutely. And right, we all know artificial intelligence, a very, very interesting topic, particularly applied to AEC here, which, we can maybe get into a little bit later in the show. But Antonio, now, so we've kind of been on this theme and topic of business, right? So there's all these things that firm owners need to think of when they're running, say, like an engineering consulting firm, right? Overhead expenses are one of those. So there's efficiencies built in, like we've talked about, right? And artificial intelligence, for example, helping engineers to do work better and faster. But could you specifically talk about reduction of overhead costs through use of your guys' software?
Yeah, so with Virtuosity specifically, we've kind of reduced the amount of applications you need to complete projects. So 10, 15 years ago, you maybe needed 4 or 5 different softwares to kind of complete your one big project. You got to take it from the drafting platform to do then to do your geotechnical things and do utilities and just so on and so forth with different applications. Now with Bentley Software Solutions, we have kind of condensed all that to one software. So now you're just paying the one-time subscription fee for the year, and then you have all the softwares you would need. So you can complete your drafting, you can complete your geotech, you can complete your utilities, you can complete site analysis, you can do a cost report. There's just so many different features and functions within the one solution that we have now that we didn't have 10 to 15 years ago. So now you're cutting that. If you spent $20,000 per year on software, now you reduce that to maybe 15, or not, you reduce $15,000 because most of our softwares cost between 2,000 to 5,000. So that's $15,000 of overhead that you saved for just that one license, let's say. And if you needed more than one, times that by 3, 4, 5 users.
Right, which
so that goes a long way.
and that is a very competitive, cost of software, right? And we actually just had an episode on software pilots, right? And one of those costs that you have to consider is the upfront cost of the software. And in a lot of instances, right, $2,000 to $5,000, it's something you still need to consider as a firm, but is very competitive in the market. But guys, let's talk a little bit, now that we've talked about a little bit about the engineering side of things and the business side. Could you guys give our listeners just a high level overview, right? Whether it just be kind of like let's say like a small project about how your products might be used from start to finish.
Yeah, I can go for it. So for our bread and butter, we're talking to clients daily. A lot of them are like land developers. A lot of them maybe work within real estate. They're looking to get their next row of subdivisions done. They're looking to, build the next homes for clients. So in that case, just what my colleague Antonio was saying, like everything is in one product. Open Site Designer, for example, you can get the conceptual side of things done with a particular aspect of the software. So you can go in there, you can just, within a few clicks, you can mess around and just get, a rough idea down, a rough draft down. If it doesn't work, based on what I was saying earlier, the cost reporting side, you can make edits accordingly. You can adjust things, line up with your budget. And once you've done that, you can take the conceptual side of things into the main core part of the software, the Open Site Designer software. And then that way you can start going more in depth to, your earthwork and your grading analysis and things like that. That's when you can have a real core idea that maybe you submit to win a bid, or maybe you use to start communicating with those who are going to construct the building, actually make it a thing. And then also on that side of things, you can visualize the design that you've done. You can take that to another portion of the software, which really brings it to life. You have your 3D animation side of things, your 3D modeling, and that way you can show anyone on the street, you can show anybody what you've done and what it's going to look like, and they can see, the 3D side. So as a overview, you can cover those 3 aspects and just walk through each stage of the project, and you have a particular part of OpenSite Designer in this case, but any civil design software that Bentley offers, you can be covered for each aspect.
Wonderful. And Antonio, did you have anything to add kind of on that front?
Yeah, and again, just again, we love to talk about start, develop, finish, specifically with the open site. Again, starting the project, you're in it, and to make it a simple terms, you can go type in 123 Tugboat Lane, and then that's pulling up on your software. You map out what you want to draw and where your parcel area will be, and then you can draw your whole subdivision. Have one design done in 30 minutes, grade it, optimize it, get cost reporting, how much it's going to cost your cut and fill, how much of your utility is going to be here. Then take that into the next phase and kind of really detail. Like, I want lot 3 to be X by X feet, or I want lot 4 to be this type of way. And then you can take it to print. And also, again, like Fishomi had said, we could take it to a visualization tool. And now you're taking it 3D printing. So the guys that just have the money and just want to see, what is my final product going to be? I don't want to know any of the numbers. What does it actually look like? You can take that to them and show them in a 3D way where they can kind of understand, okay, this is what I'm actually going to get. That's what I'm going to see. So.
Beautiful. And for our audience who maybe isn't in like land development or site design, right? Just think about the principles that Fishomi and Antonio are talking about, right? There's a piece of software out there that's helping you, let's say, iterate through different types of designs and giving you options, but by no means are you bound by the software, right? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if there's something you don't like about a particular part of a design, you as the designer have the freedom to change it, but it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And let's say, the tediousness of just drawing plots of houses in a subdivision, right? And it's kind of giving you that option to explore and play to ultimately get to the desired end result faster.
That's correct.
That's right, 100%.
So just, we present, certain solutions, right, to you guys in the audience, but don't necessarily be constrained by, oh, I don't do land development or site design. Just kind of think about the underlying principles here. But, guys, it's been great having you on today, talking about Virtuosity and Bentley and kind of the different types of software that are offered. But Fishomi, what final piece of advice would you like to give to our listeners?
Yeah, I would just like to say, we're going to close out the year going into 2023. I would encourage everyone to have an open mind, especially when it comes to civil design software. There's stuff out there, stuff that Bentley Systems offers that can be a real game changer. So, whether you're looking to grow your workflow, whether you're looking to sustain what you have currently, or, make expansion in your business, there's definitely something that's there for you.
Wonderful. And guys, what's the best way for our audience to find you, right? Are you guys on LinkedIn? Can we go, through your website? Like what's the best place to find you?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn, Fishomi, Philip King on LinkedIn. And I'm on there most of the day, every day. So any messages that come through, I'll be happy to respond. Any further questions that come up. Yeah, I think LinkedIn's the best place. And then obviously email and stuff like that too.
Absolutely. And Antonio?
Yeah, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Antonio Moss on LinkedIn, and Antonio.moss@Bentley is my email. Feel free to reach out. We give out free live demos of our software solutions. So, you're hearing it on your podcast, you're watching this wherever you are, you want to take a sneak peek of what this could do for my company or what this can do, please reach out to us. We give live demos. You can come ask, hey, I want to see what a town subdivision is going to look like. Hey, I want to see what this multi-purpose building could look like that I usually work on. Those type of projects, we'll go for it, do it live, and you can see what you're actually getting.
Wonderful. And we make the same offer, right? At EMI, we are here to help you guys and our audience. And if there's anything we can do for you guys on the software technology side, right, just need to bounce some ideas off or just need somebody to kind of listen to your issues and what's going on, we are definitely here to help. But thank you both. It has been a pleasure. And to the audience, we will catch you next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Please remember, you can find the show notes for this episode at aectechpodcast.com. There, you'll find a summary of the key points discussed in today's episode, as well as links to any of the resources, websites, or books mentioned during the episode. Until next time, I wish you all the best in all of your engineering and technology endeavors. Thank you.